going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be showing you how to establish a TikTok shop account. So whether you're deciding on making the products and fulfilling them yourself, or working with a print-on-demand platform such as Printful, who made this video possible, or perhaps dropshipping products that you find on the internet. By the end of this video, you'll know methods that allow you to start with close to $0 and, more importantly, navigate the TikTok shop infrastructure. They have a lot of different tools and resources. We're going to show you how to maximize them in order to create the best products that'll better help you sell the designs and the services that you're looking to offer. So I think it's important for us to start off with what the TikTok shop is and really understand that ecosystem, because it could be a little confusing. Now, when it comes to TikTok shop, you need to realize that they're essentially their own platform. Now, historically, when it came to selling on demand or drop shipping, it was associated with Shopify. Shopify made it easy for you to drop ship products. Well, now TikTok is essentially coming in the market and taking over that Shopify's place. This means that this is a platform that helps you sell as well as collect and manage your logistics for everything that you're going to be selling on your shop. So it's not necessarily tied to Shopify. You could tie it in if you wanted to, but if you just want to start up a store without managing anything on Shopify, you can do it as a standalone with TikTok shop. Now, what does this mean for you as a brand owner? Well, this means that you're going to need to register for TikTok shop and be approved. Now, in order to be approved, you need to be selling in a country that's TikTok shop approved. And not every country currently has this, so you need to keep these things in mind. Now, the most popular marketplace is obviously in the US. We got one of the biggest e-commerce demands in the world. So if you're watching this video and you're currently in the US, you're in luck because you have a better chance to be approved. If you're coming out of the country and looking to sell in the US, you're gonna need to register a US entity. Now, we're gonna link some links in the description down below that'll help you do some international cross-border registration. Again, all of these are just information and resources, so make sure you do your research before you guys decide on establishing your business here in the US. Now, when it comes to selling on TikTok shop, another important thing that you need to know is that a lot of the products that are being sold here are very cheap. And we're talking about like lower than manufacturing cost cheap. And you may be wondering why that is. Manufacturers in China are able to sell directly to the US market. This gives them an incredible opportunity to really bring products into a new sales channel. So keep these things in mind. When you're drop shipping or selling products, you're potentially competing with manufacturers who are now selling direct to the consumers in the US, which means that they can lower their price and essentially make money on volume. So throughout this video, we're going to be showing you guys ways to differentiate yourself from all the manufacturers that are now drop shipping direct to the US. This means we're diving into some case studies that brands are doing, and we're also going to be showing you the tools that you need to know to do your own research and formulate your own game plan. All right, so now with all of that out of the way, I think it's important for us to jump into how to establish your TikTok shop account. All right, so let's head on over to do that right now. We're actually going to link all of the resources that you need in the description down below, so just head on over there, check that out if you have any questions. Now, once you click on that link, it'll take you to a TikTok seller registration page. Now, what's important to note about this, guys, is that you will need some information such as your IDs, driver's license, or potentially social security number in order to verify that you're a legitimate US citizen that's able to sell in the US. Now, once you get that all out the way, if you do have any questions, we're actually going to link a full-length video that we did on just registering for TikTok shop, as well as some of the resources that they have in there. Check out that video there if you have any questions. So once you sign in and you register, and once you verify your documents, you'll see a homepage that looks just like this. Now, this is a TikTok Seller Central account. Like I mentioned, this is all like a Shopify dashboard. They literally allow you to do everything that you need to do to manage your orders, your fulfillment settings, which we're going to jump into here, because when it comes to selling with print on demand, you need to have all these things set up. Your shipping templates, the products that you're going to be selling. This is where you can list everything and actually start making some money. Now, you also have the marketing tab over here. We're going to be diving into some of these things and how this plays in, especially live video. This is going to be really cool things for you guys to see here. So we're going to be diving into all of these things as well as some additional tools, but just realize that it could be a little overwhelming, guys. This Seller Central is essentially a new platform. I really think they're trying to compete with Shopify, and word on the street is that they're actually opening up their own fulfillment centers to get products faster to customers. So this means they're going to be opening up their own warehouses to warehouse the products that you're selling. It's going to be a crazy thing that they're actually coming head to head with Shopify, so we'll see how this plays out. But in the meantime, there's an arbitrage here for you guys because there's a big focus on TikTok to sell more products through TikTok shop. TikTok is putting in a lot of resources in order to sell products on their platform. So if you're a print-on-demand seller or a clothing brand or any brand owner that's looking to start, this is a great opportunity for you to break into a whole new market and a whole new audience. Now, once you got your account established and all set up, the next thing you need to do is start adding products. Now, if you're fulfilling your own products, then you're going to take a similar approach. But if you're drop shipping or doing print on demand with a platform such as Printful, you're also going to need to know these settings. All right, so you're going to go on over to the top account here. You're going to head on over to My Account and Account Settings. Now through this, you're going to see something called warehouse settings. And warehouse settings is essentially where the products are going to be shipping from. So you need to update these according to the supplier that's fulfilling the products. So if we come on over here, you can establish your own warehouse, or you can enter in the information of the warehouse that you're working with. Now, when it comes to selling products on TikTok, it's important to note that if you work with suppliers who have a direct integration to the TikTok platform, it makes your job a lot easier. Now, one of those integrations that we highly encourage you to check out is Printful, which we link in the description down below. And by signing up to that account, you get a very special offer. In a few minutes, we'll be diving into the nitty-gritty details of connecting Printful to TikTok, but feel free to scrub to that section now if you're ready to get started. But if you're watching this video and you're wondering what product should you sell, well, we're going to start by showing you some tools that TikTok Shop has in order to verify your direction. All right, now what's important to note is that since you are competing a lot on price with a lot of these generic products, you need to enter the market with something that's very unique. In previous videos on our channel, we talk about the importance of niching down. What does this mean? This means that finding a market that you could be passionate about and really creating designs that aren't available in the market right now. This means you got to get creative, you got to work with designers, or you got to be a designer if you're going to be successful at print on demand. But it doesn't mean you have to create crazy, outlandish designs. It just means you have to be thoughtful about what you're designing and really relate to somebody. Now, we're going to be diving into some of these examples right now just to get you some ideas, and then later in this video, we're going to be doing a deep dive on case studies. Now, what's really cool about TikTok is that they give you a lot of data around what's trending and what's working in the market. So once you find a niche, or once you decide on something, you can use these tools to really ramp up your design and your direction. Now, if you're not really sure where to start, this is also a pretty good beginning. Now, let's head on over to TikTok, and what you're going to find is from the homepage account, you're going to go to live in video. Now, in this live in video, you can it actually gives you a lot of different ideas. Head on over to get inspired, and you can filter it through top sales. Now, this means these are the top selling products currently on TikTok Shop. Now, you can scrub through this if you're not really sure which products you're going to buy. This is a great place to look through some ideas. But what's important to note is that by looking at this trending category, you start to get ideas for what niches you might be interested in actually targeting. And then from that, you should start designing products around that. The beauty about print on demand is that it doesn't cost you anything until after a product is sold. So in this example here, you can see that it's literally a print on demand product. They order a sample, and now they're revealing it in a very unique way. So the trending feed within TikTok Shop is one place to look at for you to start to get inspired into what products you want to sell on demand through TikTok Shop, or even what products you should consider potentially selling on your store in general. Now, the next tool you should look into is the TikTok Creative Center. Now, everything here is connected to the account that you created for TikTok Shop, so all you got to do is sign in. Once you sign in here, what you're going to find is you're going to find a couple of different inspirations, some trends happening within the platform, as well as some top ads. They literally are giving you the data to show you, hey, this is what's working. You should try to replicate it, make it your own. Then you click on inspiration and you click on top products. What you're going to find here is some of the growth in terms of these categories. So you can filter within 30 days. You can see the popularity change. If there's a significant spike, it'll tell you here. You can keep track of things that you might want to consider selling in the market. And of course, a lot of things are seasonal, guys. We have a seasonal shopping, even though it's e-commerce. Products go up and down, right? Now let's click on t-shirts here to learn a little bit more about this info and how you can apply it to your brand. Now, the Creative Insight gives you the performance and popularity, click-through rates. The CPA is a cost per action. That's how much it costs you on average for somebody to actually convert on your store. Now, once you log into the Creative Insight, you're going to see data around t-shirts in general. Now, you could also see related videos. So some of these related videos are trending products, and if they land on this page, they're potentially already blew up, and it might be a little too late. It might be a little saturated for you to enter. But again, it's all about keeping these ideas in mind, testing them out, moving them forward, and then seeing how they're doing in the market. And TikTok is telling you how much you're potentially going to spend if you decide to do advertising with them. So you can click around. This is a really good tool to find some inspiration, as well as things that were working either historically or within the last few days. And if you click on over here and you go to Audience Insights, you're going to find that in this niche of men's underwear and men's t-shirts and garments, you're going to find a lot of different examples related to this. And you're also going to see other potential products or categories. So for instance, anime is something that's trending. So all of these are ideas. If you're thinking about finding a niche, what product should you design? You can essentially solidify that concept or direction by seeing what TikTok is giving you. Now, when it comes to related interests, you could also see those interests, and you can see the anime's hot, watches, sports, action, adventure, and then the age range of that demographic. So primarily 18 to 24 is the people that are buying or taking action within those niches. Identify your niche, solidify it through the tools that we just shared you right here. Now, another tip is, once you're doing the research, is to compile the notes that you're getting. Take some simple screenshots, throw it up on a Google Slides so you can start to create design directions for your new brand or for your new collections. And once you have that mood board, you may be wondering, okay, how do I design it? I'm not really skilled in design. Well, there's a couple of different options for you guys. The very first one is to outsource. Now, outsourcing is working with other graphic designers. There's platforms such as Upwork that allow you to work with different creatives that may be in the niche that you're exactly looking for. Another one of those platforms is Fiverr, which you can start to job out and see which person might be the good fit. But if you want to take it all in-house and really start to improve your creative ability, because print on demand is really predicated on design, then other platforms such as Kittl allow you to essentially create designs really easily and also find graphic design templates that are going to allow you to actually print on demand. Now, the beauty about Kittl is that it gives you vector graphics. These vector graphics mean that you're going to get the highest resolution in printing, because one of the main concerns with print on demand is the print quality. And oftentimes the reason why prints come out pretty bad is the print resolution, and the print graphic itself wasn't good to begin with. There's only so much that a print provider can do for you to upscale and fix your art. It's a manual and tedious task. So you need to make sure that you're submitting the highest resolution graphics in order to get the highest resolution results. So I'm going to show you really quickly what this means, and then we're actually going to import it into Printful, and then we're going to be diving into the shipping settings so we can start selling on TikTok. All right, so we're going to head on over to Kittl, and we're going to start designing for a product that we have in mind. Now, the cool part about Kittl is that you don't need to be a graphic designer. Now, you could start by essentially just looking at some of the templates they have. Now, in our example here, we're actually doing some merch for an upcoming show, so we're going to be diving into some mechanic style of designs, because that's what this collection that we're kind of building is around. So even if we didn't have a graphic designer that knew about mechanics, you look up mechanics, and what you're going to find is a lot of different templates. You can literally do this for any market, guys. Input your market into here, and it starts giving you some designs, and you can follow along as well. So once you pull it up, what's really cool is that you can literally edit every single object within it. So if you want to change up the text, you want to change up the imagery, you can do that really easy by just dragging away and just customizing as you go. So in this example, we're going to put, made from home, or maybe speed and power, or control. So we're just going to play around with some of the options that we have. And what's really cool is that you could even use AI to generate some objects that you may be looking into that you couldn't find in any template. So in this example, I'm gonna ask it to create a hand that looks like it's designing something. So this hand here actually went really well with the original design that I thought of. So now what's cool about Kittl is that they allow you to design within it, and it also gives you the mockups you may need to start envisioning how that line will look across all your other designs. So you can start literally creating collections and start finding that aesthetic that you really resonate with. And later on in this video, we'll talk about the importance of that. So make sure you guys keep these things in mind. Your mockups and your mood boards that you create here will actually help you kind of fine tune your idea and see if it's something that your market's gonna like. So we're gonna place it on some tests here, some of the back of the sweaters. I'm like, okay, cool, that might work. So that's the cool part about using programs like this, guys, that make it really easy and simple for anybody to design. And once you have your designs completed and finalized, the next step is moving it into Printful. So let's show you how to do that now. Now, once you sign up to the links down below, you'll have access to getting a discount as long as you purchase within a certain time period. So make sure you check out those details below to adhere to it so you get your 50% off. Now, when it comes to the product catalog, like we mentioned, they have a variety of products, but we're gonna start with apparel. And in the t-shirts options, you got all these different prices. So we're gonna go with one that is a pretty straightforward, and it's a great starter if you're just gonna be selling merch and print-on-demand products on TikTok store, and that's with the Bella Canvas 3001. Now, what you're gonna wanna do whenever you're designing products on Printful is you wanna create product templates. And the reason for this is because it allows you to reuse those templates and put them into different stores. You'll see what that means in just a second. So don't just create a design and not create a template. Always try to create a template if it's something that you think you're gonna be selling on TikTok store. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna upload your design that you got from Kittle. Again, you need a PNG in high quality. So right over at as you're scaling this, you'll see what the DPI is, and it'll give you any errors if you have any errors within it. So make sure you adhere to these guidelines to get the best print quality. Now, once you got the design in there, what you're gonna essentially do is you have an option to also design some stuff in the back. You have some options to do it on the sleeves, but for this design, we're just going to design something for the front. So now that we got the first one, let's click around and start looking at some of the other products you could design. Now, what's really cool is that you can literally add these products with a click of a button. Now, it is important to note that you want to make sure you format your art for the product, or else it may give you some errors. So if you format it for a certain dimension and it's not that dimension, you're gonna get an error. So that's why it's important that you know some graphic design, or at least be able to communicate your graphic design needs according to the products that you're making. So let's come on over here and start looking at some of the home and living products. Now, mugs are one of the products that can ship pretty quickly. They actually are pretty fast at doing this because there's no prep work. What's really cool about Printful is that they got the mugs in black. Now, this is really cool because if you're only printing on white mugs, then you can't necessarily do too much full coverage, but since I had a black design, I'm able to put it on a black mug and it looks incredible. So as you start to design it, again, you could change up the placement here. So if you slide it over to the left, slide it over to the right, that's the position where it'll be on the mug itself. So we're gonna go ahead and select a placement for a right-handed person to be drinking out of it, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, print on demand is great for cell phone cases. Now, especially when a new product like an iPhone 15 or the new iPhone 16 or 17 comes out, people are always looking for a case to protect it, and if you got something that's trending or something that's good, your customers are going to want to buy it. So you can meet the demand with the products. Now, what's really cool about Printful's cases is that they're actually super heavy duty. I actually have them on my own iPhone, but you need to be aware of just formatting the design for the case. In this example, this design is too big for the case. We're gonna have to design something a little bit more simple. And we also have to keep in mind that this is a transparent case and it can't print on the sides. It can only print on the back. So make sure you design it accordingly. A design for this phone case may be something more like a simple logo versus a full print on the back. But again, you can get as creative as you want. You could do repeat patterns, whatever it is. Sky's the limit. I'm just not very happy with this, and I don't think I necessarily want to list this, but I wanted to show you guys this for reference. And once you have all of your templates here, what's really cool is that you can create mockups with them. And the mockups you can list on social media, you could put onto your own storefront, and you could also transfer them over to TikTok Shop. So if we head on over to Custom Mockup Maker, so in this example here, I'm going to show you guys what that means by customizing. So let's say we're happy with this design. Now what we can do is we can actually select and continue, and what it's going to allow you to do is actually move that house plant or change the size of the clock. It's pretty cool. I mean, it allows you to customize those mockups and download them and use them for promotions. So that's the power of doing print on demand, especially with a platform such as Printful, is that they do assist you with selling through marketing. So you can save the mockups as a scene in your products, or you can download them to your computer. Now you can see there, that's how it came out. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good quality promotion. Again, get creative with what you're doing and what your brand's about. So now that we've got our products uploaded to Printful, it's time to communicate it with TikTok Shop. Now, before we dive into that screen recording to show you the step-by-step, I want to go ahead and mention that there's 3 key things you need to keep in mind when doing business with TikTok Shop. They include the processing time, as well as the refund requests. You're going to get refunds. And then the third one is actually the payment window. Since TikTok Shop is managing all this, they really have control here, and you need to be aware of what's to come in order for you to have success with the platform. So the very first thing that we need to talk about is the processing time. Now, TikTok gives you 3 days in order to fulfill orders. And when it comes to doing business with print on demand, the reality is it could take anywhere between 2 to 5 days for Printful to ship out a product. Now, products such as mugs and other little accessories ship out a lot faster, but when it comes to apparel, guys, there's a harder process to print and make your garments. So it can take up to 5 days before it's released to your customer. So these are processing times you need to keep in mind, and we're going to show you how to bypass some of these things to help you continue selling and remain in good standing. Now, the next one is refunds. Now, TikTok Shop makes you as a seller respond to refund requests within 48 hours. This means that you need to be able to process those refunds timely, and the customers have a wide variety of reasons to actually request a refund. We're going to link to some of the refund requests that are most common right now on the screen recording, but keep this thing in mind, guys. The customer can essentially return a product because it didn't fit, they didn't like it, they changed their mind, or any of the other reasons, and you as a seller need to be prepared in order to put that into your expense column when it comes to budgeting and building a business around TikTok Shop. Now, when it comes to refunds on Printful's side, they give you up to 30 days to submit any refund request, and Printful is essentially going to refund you for anything that's on their fault. So whether it's a misprinted item, it's a defective item, you can also see their policy for refund requests there. But just know that when it comes to refund requests and when it comes to e-commerce, now you want to shoot for less than a 5% return rate, but it can be as high as 10% when it comes to selling products, especially apparel. People can literally change their mind based on a color, a fit. There's so many different reasons, guys. So you just need to be aware of this. Now, I'm not saying this to turn you away from it. I'm just telling you that you need to be prepared, because sometimes we jump into something and we don't realize what we're getting into. So I want to make sure you guys are good. And the next thing you need to know is about payments. Now, when it comes to payments, TikTok Shop built an incredible platform that allows you to sell to billions of people, but at the same time, they also control when you get paid. Now, right now, as the time of this recording, it's up to 15 days after you deliver that product to your customer, which means that it could take a few weeks for you to actually collect on any sales. So you need to keep these things in mind, because when it comes to doing print on demand with TikTok Shop, this is where it can get a little complicated, because you need to be able to pay for the products as the customer is ordering them. So in this example, if somebody orders a t-shirt from our store, we need to pay Printful to make the product and ship it to our customer. Now, that charge that we get up front is something that we need to put on a credit card or some other business debit card in order for us to fund that production and ship it to the customer. Now, it could take up to 15 days to get the funds to our bank account to pay for that transaction. So you could see how this can kind of get a little tricky here if you don't have a good credit card, or if you don't have a good funding amount inside of your business debit card or whatever you're using to fund the production runs. So keep all of these things in mind, guys, because every single one of these three can drastically affect the way that you're going to do on TikTok Shop. And again, I'm not saying this to turn you guys away. I'm just saying it in order to better prepare, because I think sometimes people put out videos and it makes it seem like it's so easy, and it can make you good money. It can make you a lot of money if you do it extremely well, but you also need to plan for what the realities of things are, and that's in managing your financing and managing your business. So now that we got these things out of the way, let's dive into the computer here and show you how to connect TikTok Shop to your Printful dashboard so you're able to connect and communicate to your customers easily. Now, this can be a little complicated and confusing, so we're going to try to make it as simple but not leave out any of the important steps for you guys. Now, when you come over to your dashboard and you go to integrations, what you're going to find is the marketplace here to learn more. And now, it could be a little confusing here, especially when you're connecting now, and it gives you these examples. These are the step-by-steps of what you need to do. It looks a little crazy, it looks a little heavy, so we're gonna break it down for you guys in this tutorial real quick. What's important is that you need to have a business account with TikTok, guys. That's gonna be key to begin with, is you need to have your business registered on TikTok as a business, not as anything else. Registered as a business. You're gonna need to update some settings within TikTok to point to Printful's facility in North Carolina if you're selling in the US. They give you a step-by-step walkthrough. We're going to link that page directly to the description. That way you guys can also copy and paste some of those addresses, and makes your life a lot easier. Once you do that, head on over to your TikTok account, go to warehouse settings, and in the warehouse settings, you're gonna add warehouse address. Now on this, you can name it whatever you wanted to name it. We're gonna do something just like a code name here for us to internally know that the products are coming from Printful. So make sure you fill out that information and point those addresses to Printful. And once you got it set up, you're gonna see that it's gonna cover all those states, and the location is now open. Once you got that warehouse set up, the next thing is you need to create a shipping template on TikTok Shop. Now follow me here, guys. This can be a little complicated. Now there is a step-by-step instruction that Printful also has on their site, which is very helpful and actually helped me set it up the right way, because this is something that people don't show on their TikTok Shop tutorial. So I wanna go ahead and show it to you guys in real time here. Now to find where you're gonna change that, you're gonna go to orders, and then through orders, you're gonna go into shipping templates. Now this is how you create a template to be able to assign it to a warehouse. So let's create a new template. Hit OK. And then we're going to create a template that's a quantity-based location. You're gonna select the shipping location. So we're gonna do POD, Printful location. Now, you can also reference this help document that Printful has, which is very helpful, and it actually gives you a lot of the information when it comes to the prices that you're gonna need to set shipping rates for. So that's also linked in there. So this is a very helpful page that I recommend you guys check out in case I miss anything or something changes within the TikTok platform. Once you come over here, we're gonna name the template standard shipping. We're gonna have our rate model as a quantity based. Now you could do weight based or quantity based. We're gonna keep it more straightforward and just go quantity based. Now you can set the settings for different standards of shipping, whether it's express, economy, or standard shipping. We're gonna go to standard shipping, and we're gonna start selecting the ranges here. What that means is the count range between 0 and 1 is going, for a t-shirt, is going to be, you can find the price that Printful is going to charge you. In the United States, shirts take 4 to 12 days to get to your customer, and it costs $4.69. And for every additional product, it's $2.20. We're just going to round it up to $4.75. It makes it a little easier for the customer to realize that they're paying under $5 for shipping. Once you go, so we're going to go 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3. Now you could do this for as many product categories as you want, and you could even go like over 10 and set a flat rate if that makes it easier for you. So let's just, for this example, I'm just going to enter in a couple here, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, but you can continue on and just essentially update your shipping template for Printful's prices. So once you do that, what you're essentially going to find is you're going to hit submit. Make sure that you select the country, right? So you're going to get some errors if you don't select the country. So make sure you select the regions, which you'll find right in the ship to edit address. Select all. Make sure you select Alaska and Hawaii as well. Now, once those products are officially adjusted and you have your standard shipping, so this is how ours looks. Remember, adjust it to however you want. Make sure you go up to as many product quantities as you can. And now you got 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and the price ranges vary. They go up by $2.20 on each category for each product. Now, again, there's different shipping rates for different categories. You can get all the shipping rates that are live on their page, so you can update those into your TikTok shop and not lose any money. Once you got the shipping template set up, this is a standard shipping. The next thing you want to do is change your shipping options. Now, by default, it's going to go to TikTok's, but you need to actually change it to do seller shipping. This allows your products to be shipped by Printful. If not, if you keep it on the standard, what's going to happen is TikTok's going to process it, and then you got to manually accept all of the shipping details. So if you change it to seller shipping, it allows Printful to upload the products directly to your TikTok store, and it allows them to fulfill it automatically. Once you have your shipping options set up to reflect that it should be shipped by the seller, the next thing you got to do is actually click on the button here. Step 4 says authorize the Printful app. Click on that button, and then it'll authorize the Printful app to the US or the UK, which is where they're currently operating. So we're going to click on authorize US, not authorize us, but authorize the US. And then it's going to ask you, where do you want to authorize the service? So now TikTok is asking you, hey, where do you want to authorize it? Do you want to give Printful all of these permissions? It's going to walk you through a little tutorial here, a little disclaimer. So it's going to go to apps and services. You're going to hit continue, and then you're going to hit install. Now in this process, it's going to ask you for the duration that they have access to. Now you could always update it. Put a year, you could put forever, but essentially it's giving them permission. Now you're gonna wanna enter in your email, put in your information. Afterwards, you're gonna authorize the install, and then once you hit done, voila, it's gonna take you over to your Printful account. Now you're gonna hit continue. Now you got your TikTok store connected to your Printful dashboard. Now under stores, it's gonna ask you, hey, add your first product to your store. Now for us, we got the Street Crafter as a TikTok, so we're gonna hit add product. Now, remember when I was talking to you guys about the templates and I was saying, hey, it's important that you guys make templates, because if you just make designs, it's not going to save. So make sure you head on over to the top, and you can actually hit my product templates right here. Now at this page, this is where you can select all of the designs that you made as a template. Now you can actually click on them, select the ounces that you want to sell. You could proceed to mockups. And what's essentially happening in this process is that you're getting your product ready to list on TikTok store. So whatever you select here for backgrounds, for the mockups, all of that's going to go live onto TikTok store. Once you select your mockups, the next thing you're going to want to do is select the product title. So you want to give it a title. You want to type in your description, and now you're going to submit it to the store. Now at this point is when you decide what margins you want to sell with. Now if this costs $8.95 to make, then you're going to want to at least sell it for double of that. All right. So in this example, we're just going to sell it for $15. I think a $15 mug is pretty standard. I think it's something people would want to more easily pick up than a $30 mug. So we're just going to go with double, close to double. And with that, it's actually going to be publishing it to the store. So once it's there, you're going to see, hey, it's synced. Streetcrafter mug is synced. And now you can download mockups again. If you want to choose new mockups, whatever you want to do here is up to you. It is now on TikTok store, which is really cool. And we're going to do the same thing with the t-shirt. So we're going to head on over to the t-shirt, and we're going to select some of the sizes, colors. If you want to have multiple colors, if you just want to keep it simple, choose the sizes from small to XXL to even bigger than that. And once you fill in those settings, like the description, you now set your prices. And again, this is a cost between $11.50 to $13.50 to make with Printful. So you can update all of your prices here. And as you can see, there's some pretty good markups on this 3001. Once you submit it to the store, it's syncing. Printful has that direct integration to TikTok, which means it's going to be published to the TikTok store that you connected to Printful. And this is pretty cool, guys. I want to show you guys right now in a quick recording on my phone how it looks live to the public. Now we've officially listed our first product. I want to congratulate you for doing the same. Please leave a comment down below with the store name that you got, or send me a DM, ask any questions there. I want to see what products you guys are looking. I want to see what you guys are working on and assist you as best as I can. So as you can see, this is a listing here on your Seller Central. And if you look at the app version, it looks pretty clean, guys. I can go to your profile and people can now start shopping for your products made on demand with Printful. So earlier in this video, we talked about the importance of finding a niche and designing products for that market that they're willing to buy. Because as you can see, it's very hard to compete on price when it comes to print on demand. Now, what I want to do right now is dive into some content strategies of brands and businesses that I found on TikTok Shop that are absolutely crushing it. We're going to be pointing out what they're doing right so you can emulate and be able to start creating your own game plan. Now, when it comes to TikTok Shop, you got to think about it as a marketplace. It's not just a place where people are browsing. They're actually actively looking to buy something. So you as a seller need to put your mind frame in the state of mind of that buyer, meaning what are they searching for to look for products that you may be selling. So if we're browsing here, as you can see, he does a simple pull out. He does some sounds here, original sounds. He literally just gives you what you want. He's also creating some of these like memes around it. So he's really good with actually creating a strategy around his intended target market. Now, if we're diving into this, I could see it's somebody that's probably either married, in a relationship, mid to late 30s. And like this one, for example, tummy ache survivor. So my girlfriend has IBS, so I got her this sweatshirt. Pretty bad to have, but he makes a good fun of it. And as you can see in the comment section here, people are saying, hey, I get you. I know somebody that has this. I'll probably give this to them, right? So when you're creating content, this is what you have to be looking at. Now, again, he dives into, some designs that are very original, something that he created. He's creating a movement. He's got a good following, and he's literally just creating designs to a market that he identified. He really understands that market. So if you're looking from the outside in, you may just be thinking, hey, this is a funny shirt, let me list it, and then you won't have success with it because he really went in on the products. Now, if we're looking over at his product photography, now this is where the mockups come into place. You should be using mockups for your product photography, but you should be ordering samples for your videography. All right, so those are two things to keep in mind. You don't have to buy every single product that you create, but you should buy the products that you could take really good videos around that you think that your audience will really enjoy. Now, let's continue down here. If we're coming over and searching for dad life in this example, we're finding a lot of trademark stuff. Guys, this is something that you need to be aware of. If you're selling something that's trademarked, Disney is going to come after you. All right. So you might have a little bit of success. You might be able to bank a little bit, but they're going to come after you pretty hard. So stay away from any trademark goods. It's not worth the hassle. Just be original, be creative. There's so many tools out now that you can literally recreate your own characters, your own brand, your own story. You don't need to copy something that's already in the market. Now, again, in this example, we just went through the funny and through the dad memes, but you can also sort through other niches or other topics that you might be interested in selling into. So in this example, we're going to dive into some streetwear brands. Now, some of these streetwear brands are pretty interesting. Like if I look up streetwear brands, Barstool Sports came up, which this is something that's pretty interesting because I wouldn't necessarily classify them as streetwear, but they're there. They're trending. They're somewhere. Somehow they got classified in that placement. So when you come to Barstool Sports, and what you can see is that they've tapped into their audience demographic and they've created merch around sports. It's a page that has to do with sports. They created interesting designs around sports. It's not like your Nike or your Under Armour or any of that. It's literally something that resonates with their target audience. So in this example, we see some bears here that are golfing, and we also see some tigers here that are golfing. So this is an example of a brand that brought together a community and then is now serving products to them in a way that really resonates with that core audience, because they literally have tens of thousands of sales on their product lines just through TikTok Shop alone. Now, they're also creating a brand while they're doing this, meaning that it's something that can live in retail stores, it can live on its own e-commerce site, it can build its own following outside of social media. And they're really tapping into some of the trending things such as golf, such as pickleball. They're going for sports that are up and coming, that are things that are growing in the market. So they started by creating a community of people that are interested in a topic. In this example, it was sports. And now they're injecting products into it. So you as a brand owner need to think about in those similar lines is how can you create a product? How can you create a community around a topic and then start to gather people there that think it's funny, that think it's interesting, that like it, that subscribe to it, and now you're starting to inject a product line that they're going to resonate and purchase. So again, this is that pickleball example I mentioned. They sold about maybe 100. Some other products they're selling about 30, 100, 300. You can see it kind of ranges, but the beauty about what they're doing is I'm almost certain that they're doing it all with print on demand. This is why it's no excuse for you guys. You should be able to start with a simple mock-up. The mock-up isn't going to be the difference between you selling something and not selling something. The mock-up only elevates what you're doing. But if you want to start selling and proving things out, use the tools already afforded to you, such as on Printful's website. And if you're designing on Kittl, they also got the mock-up generator there. Don't overthink it, guys. Find a market, create content for that market, inject products into that market, rinse and repeat. Now, for those of you guys watching and wondering, hey, I'm getting some sales, but I'm not able to get enough traffic, I think I can make this profitable, then you should be diving into ads. Now, when it comes to TikTok ads, they have a variety of different formats that you could place it in. We have a video that we linked right up above in the cards where we actually dive into a step-by-step TikTok shop advertising game. Like we literally show you how to launch your ads. And we also have a very limited exclusive discount from TikTok that allows you to essentially get dollar for dollar match on your ad spend. I highly encourage you guys to check that out. But for now, I just want to mention that when you're ready to start growing and selling, you should consider taking ads. And I would highly encourage that you guys check out the video that we linked in the description down below, as well as in the cards up above, for you to get that hands-on training to take those ads to the next level, which will allow you to continue printing on demand profitably. As I mentioned at the start of this video, if you're considering to drop ship or sell generic products with print on demand, you're in for a rude awakening. The reality is now that TikTok allows manufacturers to sell direct to a customer in your country, which means they have the ability to undercut you and take those sales. And even if you do create a design that really does well in the market, with the tools that TikTok Shop gives competitors, there's gonna be a flood of similar products and maybe even copycats of the exact same product that you're selling. So how do you counteract that as a brand owner? Well, you need to be ready to change. And you need to have a deep understanding of the niche that you're going into in order to change successfully. By spending hours of time understanding your audience, understanding your market, you're able to innovate on this fly. So you're not just have one successful product, you can have many. And you can really start to develop a brand that way. Because because by creating a brand, that's ultimately the only way that you're going to protect yourself from other sellers, from other people that are copying what you do. Because as consumers, you're willing to pay a premium for a brand because that brand helps you portray your identity to the world. So as an entrepreneur, you need to think about how can you start to morph your product designs into a brand? How do you create the right messaging, the right marketing, working with the right influencers? All of this plays into the role here. You're going to need to work on that as you start to develop some sales. You're going to need to invest in it because that's the only thing that's going to protect you from everybody else flooding the space with your exact designs. And again, there's no such thing as get rich quick schemes. If you watch this video thinking you're about to make a lot of money, you have the potential to do so if you work in the right ways and if you have the right ideas and the right game plan. But for 99.9% of people, it's going to be a grind, and it's going to be something that you got to be ready to put some work into. And the only way you're going to be willing to put that work in with no payment or no investment or return on that time is by being passionate about what you're building and seeing how that business can make an impact in your life and in the life of others. Once you start doing that enough, you're going to have success, guys, but it's not going to come overnight. But again, don't let any of this discourage you, and don't be afraid because you already have everything you need. All you got to do is take the next best step. And if the next best step is in creating an account and opening up your TikTok shop, well, we linked all the resources that we discussed in the description down below. And make sure to consider using Printful, who actually owns all of their facilities around the world. This allows you to plug into a product library that spans from t-shirts to mugs to canvas to almost anything you can imagine. And they're able to do that because they produce everything in-house. And when you're ready to get started, make sure you use the discount code to Printful in the links down below. It gets you 50% off your first sample. And when you're ready to start developing a brand and take it above just a print-on-demand product line, I highly encourage that you check out this video here where we dive into the most common reasons why brands fail and the ways that you can overcome it with your design, marketing, and messaging. We'll see you in that one. And if you enjoyed this one, subscribe.